to hear where in the world you are. It's always good to know that I'm spreading the word across the globe. So Clare Downham, the Queen of Calm, is who I am, and I am a human potential catalyst. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that a little while now, maybe a week or two, but I really like it, and I really think it explains what I do and how I help people. You may have noticed, I certainly noticed it in me for a very long time, that there was something not quite there, and I didn't feel quite connected or in flow or connected to my creativity maybe. I felt like I wasn't kind of meeting my potential, and I don't mean that in a kind of career-y sort of success, old school successy kind of way. I just noticed that I was getting in my own way quite a lot, and wondered for a long time how to get past that, and tried, like I'm sure people here, you have too, tried a lot of things to get past that, and to feel like we are going through life, flowing through life, connecting to this essence of this universal intelligence, which is who we really are. And I felt that was missing for a long time, and tried a lot of things to get there, and came across the 3 principles and have discovered life from a completely different perspective, and it's changed everything. So hi Nikki from Kansas. I should be able to say Kansas. I was brought up on The Wizard of Oz. So hi from Kansas. Hi to Nikki in Kansas. Yeah, you came in at the end of one, didn't you, before? So I'm so glad you've started my course. So of course I will be mentioning my courses as we go through this. My courses on Insight Timer. That's the other thing about Insight Timer, which is great. I get to share so many different kinds of content. So I have courses, I do lives like this, and I have quite a lot of recordings. I've got lots and lots of free talks on here, and after you've listened to this, you may well want to go off, follow me on my profile and find out more about what I share. There's all the stuff I have on Insight Timer, and then there is a link on my bio, and you can go into that and find out even more about what I share and what I do. So my courses are Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease, which was my first course that I created on here, and some of you went through the pain. Me getting that. Not really, it wasn't really a pain, but there was a lot of technical stuff around the audios and getting those right and getting them approved by Insight Timer. But I have since adapted my system. They can check out my mic now has a little hat and a little mask, bless it. It's like it's going out in coronavirus days, isn't it? But that has improved my sound quality hugely. I also messed about with the gain. We're getting too techy here, but I messed around with the gain on my mic as well. And my course, my recordings now seem to be passing the Insight Timer test with more ease, so that's good. I always want things to be with ease, and technically they can not always be, can they? So my second course, Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles, and that course really links to what we're talking about in this session, what I'm talking about this month, which is revealing your potential. I'm so excited about this particular month's content, and there's more coming up next week. During the session I will tell you a bit more about what I've got coming up, because I just think so many of us, and I can see we've got lots of women here, but I'm sure we've got some men too, but many of us are just not, we're just not feeling like we're kind of, we notice we're getting in our own way, don't we? So often I help people with things like imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, we've talked about that in the last week or so, inner critic, those kind of things that people it's my fiance shutting the door, those kind of things that we notice are holding us back, and we've given them all these complicated labels, but actually I hope to kind of clean that up a little bit and help us to just change our relationship with our thinking, because that's really what we're talking about here. So hello, we've got Marita from Stockholm. I have actually been to Stockholm many years ago. I think it's probably about 2009, maybe 2008, something like that. I actually went on a trip with the Education Authority because I used to be a head teacher. This was before I was a head teacher, but I went to go look at the education system in Stockholm and was blown away by the things that you were doing there. The thing is, you can't really move an education system from Stockholm to Leeds. It turns out that doesn't really work, but it was great seeing the amazing things that you were doing in Stockholm and seeing the education system firsthand. It was brilliant. Hi, Erin from Indiana. Somebody from Indiana the other day, and I said India and was trying to work out, asking what time it was. It wasn't India at all. It was Indiana. So I've read that one right this time. That's really good. So, a little bit more about me. I was a primary school head teacher. I burnt out. So I'm known as the Queen of Calm now, but I was not. I was the Queen of Crazy, quite frankly. I was trying to control the outside world to make myself feel better. I was very much of a control freak. Anybody else here recovering control freak? I was a total control freak. Still am a little bit now. Still like to organise and plan stuff, but maybe not with quite so much psychological complication like I had before. Thank you for your honesty, Marij. That's brilliant. I love it when people fess up in the comments and let us know, because we're all, I think you'll find that like we're all struggling with the same things, aren't we, as human beings? Like it's not psychology's been made so complicated, but I just think we're all stuck in the same stuff. There are certain things that the human mind just does, and particularly when the human mind is upset. And that's a place to bring some beautiful awareness, I think, in this life is, what does my mind, ask yourself that question, what does my mind do when it's upset? And just starting to notice what's the track you go on. Mine goes to try and control things. Definitely. What can I pin down now? Not so much now. It's fallen away so much, but it definitely was the whack-a-mole game where the heads bob up and you have to hit them with a hammer. It used to be an arcade game many, many years ago, but it used to be an actual little game you could buy for kids. Not a board game, but a game in a box, that you get out of your kids. And life for me used to feel like that, trying to control everything. So, hello, Fanaz. Love to know where you're from. Welcome. Got lots of people still coming in. I do like this Friday lunchtime session. I don't think I can do it next week because I think I've got too many things already, but I'm going to try and schedule it in for future weeks so I can do a regular 12 o'clock on a Friday session. So watch this space for that. So today we're going to be exploring the power of presence. Oh, that's... you're in London, Fanaz. Not too far away. Well, not too far away compared to lots of the other people here. Only a couple of 100 miles compared to some people who are thousands of miles away. Presence is... it's just the place where we really do work better as human beings. We don't think we do, because somewhere along the line we think we work better in the future. We think we work better in the past. We think there's some kind of relevance in the past and the future, but actually, as human beings, the real, like the second part of the title is revealing potential in the now, is that our true potential is only ever revealed in the now. I mean, that's it now. We're finished. I'll go. I've left you with that nugget. That's it. So hi, Annette from Northern Ireland. So I have a motorhome and I'm determined to get my motorhome to Northern Ireland at some point and have a little pot around. I'm going to pop in to see my daughter's at Bangor Uni, so I can go past Bangor onto Holyhead and nip across the sea, I believe, to Ireland. So good morning, Pamela from Chicago. Ross Trevor, I'm not sure I get that. Trevor is the motorhome. He's named by my daughter, who thought it was funny. I don't know. I said, what are we going to call the motorhome, Sophie? She's 20 odd. She said we're going to call him Trevor. Trevor, Sophie, are you sure? Anyway, Trevor has stuck. Trevor's on the drive. We love Trevor and we love pottering around. So sometimes for these sessions, I'll be here in my house with the curtain that hides a multitude of sins. Ah, Ross Trevor. Oh, I have to take Trevor to Ross Trevor. That is just a no-brainer, Annette. Thank you so much. I shall put that on my list. I have an app with a list on of all the places I want to visit in my motorhome. So, morning from California. Good morning, Liz. Welcome. So, quick brief commentary on the 3 principles. If you've heard about 3 principles, let me know in the comments. If you haven't, let me know in the comments. It may be something completely new to you. I came across the three. Oh, we've got something from Brazil. Roseanne, welcome so much. Welcome. I came across the 3 principles in January 2020. I nearly forgot when. It's so significant a date because I think I maybe wouldn't have remembered it quite so well if it hadn't have been January 2020. Because having done a lot of self-development, I was doing books about habits, trying to get myself to be more productive, doing all the stuff about only working 4 hours a week and tiny habits, mini habits, atomic habits. Like I've got some hearts, so I think maybe some people are familiar with those books. 5 Second Rule, Mel Robbins, she's lovely. But I was trying all the time to make myself be different, be more productive, be more, I guess, trying to reveal my potential, but from the outside in, which was exhausting. So I did absolutely loads of self-development. Lots of morning rituals to get myself kind of into the right zone and the right frame of mind, and then lots of therapy, poking around with the past, trying to find the root cause, what was wrong with me. And I did all of that for a really long time till I came across the 3 principles in January 2020. And the transformation I experienced between January 2020 and March 2020, we all remember March 2020, don't we? Yeah, we do, don't we? What a strange old time that was. The transition was so great that when my business literally collapsed, because before this I was a hypnotherapist and I used to see people in a chair over there in this room, and they couldn't do that anymore, couldn't come to the house anymore, so I could no longer run my business, and it just didn't bother me. I found myself feeling extremely calm and able to kind of work out the next steps, and saw that following this business and following this understanding was what I really wanted to do, because I'd experienced such a big transition in such a short time, and it just all kind of fell into place. It was quite wonderful, really. So that was my second accidental business, because my first business was accidental too. I only start accidental businesses, apparently. Yeah, everything, Claudia, our own rhythm for everything. And I think that's, like, when I talk about our potential, it is often about finding our own rhythm. Like, I can feel quite emotional about that, because I love that you've said that, Claudia. I love that you've said that, because it is about finding our own rhythm. Like, we often think that meeting our potential is about meeting everybody else's outside goals and targets, and this is what your business is supposed to look like by now, and this is where you should be in your career by now, and why haven't you got 2.4 children by now, and why are you not married by now, and now you're married and the saying of you ain't gonna have children, and like, it's all these layers of what other people are saying is our potential, but actually, I'm going to jot that down, Claudia, because I absolutely love it. It is about our own rhythm. That's what it's really about. That's where your potential is. It's within your own rhythm. It's not about somebody else's idea of what your life is supposed to look like. And that's, that for me, if I looked out into the world and said, how do you grow a coaching business? Trust me, I've asked that question many a times. and then Instagram finds out you've asked that question, and it bombards you with ways to do that. And I bought into a lot of those too. But it doesn't really matter what aspect of life we're talking about. We can look out there and find a way to do it so that we meet our goals and reach our potential and all of that. But actually, the true potential that you are is what comes from in here. You know, it's your heart and your gut. It's trusting that intuition and feeling yourself in that flow, that creativity. So this morning on a suggestion, and I do take suggestions, so please do pop them in the comments if you've got any suggestions. That I've created a new meditation which is called a morning meditation for flow and creativity. It's just on Audacity. Sorry, I've got to finish tweaking it and making it right for the Insight Timer gods and getting it right. So I'm doing that, and I've created that meditation because I think that we just need sometimes to be reminded how to connect to that. You know, it's always there, this inner flow, this inner creativity, this power that comes to us, this potential that comes to us in the present moment. But so often we're in here somewhere, aren't we? Like in the stirry, crazy, noisy bit, and we miss that connection to presence and flow, which are natural to us. Oh goodness, Marita, how wonderful to be there with Muji in March 2020. Yeah, how wonderful. What a lovely experience that must have been. I think he's on here, isn't he? So, on Insight Timer. Oh, bless you, Farnaz. It was a strange time. There's no way on this planet that I don't know, it's like it was the most unexpected thing ever. It was all very sudden, wasn't it? I don't know. It just seemed to be one day we were all pottering around doing our thing and living our lives, and the next day we were not. But what I saw in that time was that this concept which we're talking about today, this power of presence, really came into the fore. I think if we had told people, or we'd known somehow, not me personally because I didn't have the information, but if somebody had told us, oh, just to let you know, like if they told us 6 months before, or just to let you know, in 6 months' time, this thing is going to happen, we would have panicked, there'd be a lot of anxiety. I think a lot more people, a lot of people have had struggles around mental illness and things, you know, during and after lockdown. However, it would have been worse if we'd known in advance. I think part of what was great about it, what I saw in the business community, was people taking the next step from the present moment. So Claudia, it sounds like you've had a different experience if you had to isolate earlier. It's the experience itself was not created by isolating earlier or isolating March 2020 or any of that. It was how we were relating to it. And I saw huge resilience. I saw people supporting each other. I saw a lot of love being shared. I saw a lot of people just, you know, connecting. Bizarrely that we were suddenly separate, but the connections I saw between people. I ran a free ladies networking event during the first year of lockdown, during 2020, and it was just wonderful how people were looking out for each other and supporting each other. It was absolutely beautiful to experience. Claudia, what an interesting thing that you'd already decided to take some time out. So yeah, beautiful. So briefly, the 3 principles. There is now a track on I think it's been checked by Insight Timer. I do need to check that before I come on the next session, but there's a track either out there or being released. It's called What Are the 3 Principles and How They're Helpful. So definitely recommend going and listening to that one. If you go over to my profile, you can see all my stuff. Just going to say hi because I can see, I've just noticed the Meditate account has gone quite high, and that's a lot of people I've not said hello to. So please say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're new to me, or you're a repeat offender, which is now what we're calling people who come back to my sessions, because it just came out of my mouth one day and it seems to have stuck. But it's stuck in my head anyway, so that's why it keeps coming out of my mouth. But welcome. Let me know if you're new to the 3 principles, or if you've got anybody here who has come across the 3 principles. If you're all new, I'm super excited. If you like listening to me and you don't mind the crying and the dodgy Yorkshire humour, then you're in the right place. Please stay with me on this journey and keep coming to these lives and have a look at my other content. But whatever happens, research the 3 principles. Find out about it. There's plenty of stuff out there. There's plenty of other teachers out there that you can find out about. But don't let your opportunity to learn about 3 principles pass you by, because it is the most life-changing thing I've ever come across. So we've got Marita, who's a newbie, Namisha, who's new from London. We've got a few people from London. I feel like I could do a little networking thing where people get to know each other. So hi Namisha, lovely to have you here too. Got quite a few. I think we've got quite a few UK people here today and European people because of the time that we're doing it, and then some early risers from other parts of the world. So in brief, the 3 principles. The 3 principles is a description of how life works. It's a really simple understanding of how the human mind works. It points us to our innate well-being, the model being that we have innate well-being. And the only thing that really ever stops us experiencing that is thought. Covers over our innate well-being. So we've been told to look outside for resilience and confidence and all sorts of other things. But in actual fact, what that does is take us even further away, more thinking, less peace, basically. That's the problem. So it's a subtractive psychology model. It's really about helping you to have less on your mind, not more. That might not be your initial experience, because right now you're probably going, what's she talking about, crazy woman? But I definitely recommend listening to more of my tracks, experiencing my courses, because that will help you to get more clarity. The 3 principles are thought, consciousness, and universal mind. You'll probably understand those from your own perspective, but what happens is that those 3 principles work together to create your experience. Thought is, as you will expect, it's thought, but of course without consciousness we will not experience the feelings that come from our thinking. Some of our thinking just goes past, doesn't it, and we don't get a big heavy feeling from I want a coffee now or a tea, it doesn't affect us like that. But when we become very invested in certain thinking and we start to follow it, and we can spiral down very quickly, can't we, into anxiety or low mood or whatever. But it's realizing as well that our feelings come from thought in the moment and not out there ever. So that's really, really key part of this, and you probably will have heard bits of that in other people's teachings. There's definitely an element of it in Buddhism, so if you've come across Buddhism you will have experienced that. It's very closely linked to non-duality. People like Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, people like that point in the same direction, but what they tend to do then is wrap tools and techniques around it. The 3 principles is just the underlying rules about how it works. It's not about what to do about it. It's like having the manual for your brain and how you work psychologically and how your experience is created. It's a bit like, we as human beings, one of the things we do as human beings, because of gravity, is that we know to put a thing down on a table like that and not just drop it from a great height. That's the thing to do. We know to do it because of this underlying deep embodied understanding of gravity that we have. Most humans don't have a deep embodied understanding of how their experience is being created, so you'll see there's a lot of human suffering being mostly created because we don't know how our experience is being created. And once we understand that, the suffering does just fall away. So it is powerful because it's the underlying principles of just about anything. If you look at NLP, if you look at CBT, if you look at all sorts of other things that use a tool or a technique, or you look at tapping, or you look at thought change things, or positive psychology, or all those things that you probably will have come across, the underlying philosophy, the underlying principles of psychology that mean these things work, they can be helpful, is the 3 principles. So it's good to know that there's something like deeper than all the other stuff that's out there. So this month I've really been exploring revealing your potential, and that I think is key to me. I think next month, because I've had quite a lot of requests, We're going to look at productivity. So we're going to look at motivation, procrastination, getting stuff done in life, in business. I do work with a lot of business owners, but I also work with individuals as well. So my client list at the moment ranges from an 18-year-old young woman who's just like not sure where she's going. She's definitely seen some super cool stuff around this understanding without knowing the understanding, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to guide her, help her to make some decisions about her life, etc. But guide her to her intuition to do that, right up to, I've got business owners in their 50s and 60s, mostly women, some men. I do work with men. They're human too, of course. So the range of clients, and they're a mixture of business owners and people who are just in employment, or with the case of the young woman, just starting out in life, in an adult life anyway. Obviously, she's been around a while, but So that's the kind of range of people. So and I would love to connect with more of you outside of here. Please go to my profile, check out the link there. There's ways to connect with me and get to know me better. So, the power of presence, revealing potential in the now. So, as I've already started to point to, I think there's a misunderstanding about what I mean by potential may not be what is meant by potential in the outside world. So I think if I think about that phrase, reaching your potential, it always seemed to be wrapped up in striving, wrapped up in working hard, wrapped up in learning more and doing more. And thank you so much for all the love going up the side. That's so lovely. I love those hearts. It's so nice. Thank you. So that's what, it's all that kind of, when you're a kid and you get 18 out of 20 in the spelling test, and somebody at home says, well, where's the other two? Why didn't you get 20 out of 20? And this idea that our potential is about the stuff that we have, certificates and accolades and circumstances and people, how many friends you've got, how many likes you've got, how many followers you've got. As a business owner, I can get into that kind of stuff. How many people like my post today, that kind of thing. That's what I love about Insight Time, and there's none of that nonsense. It's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? It's just like turn up and deliver something that's helpful to people and get lots of hearts. I mean, the hearts up the side are lovely, but so there's all those outside circumstantial things that if we're not there, if we're not doing those things, if we've not had a child by whatever age, and we've got a mother or somebody in our ear kind of asking us questions about that, if we've not met, we've not got particular career lined up by a certain age, then or we've not travelled enough, or we've not got the right house or the right car, or our children aren't dressed in the right clothes, or there are a multitude of factors here, a multitude of different circumstances that we can be seeking with this aim of with this aim of that being how we reach our potential, by doing stuff and being stuff, having the right accolades, I guess I'm going to call it that. And the trouble with that is that I think that leads an awful lot of people down paths that are not where they would go. And I have, my personal experience of this. Yes, Liz, I call it a yardstick. Feels like something we're hitting ourselves with. I actually do have my my ruler that I demonstrate. We're hitting ourselves on the head with our thinking a lot of the time, but a lot of that thinking looks real, doesn't it? We're getting the yardstick out. That looks like a real yardstick. It looks like it's reality because so many people are talking about it. I love that, Marita. we can learn so much from younger people, definitely, about this, how they are guided by their intuition, until we start funneling them into this system that, and I'm an ex-primary school head teacher, so I used to funnel, that was my job, and I really see now that the education system perhaps isn't so good for people because of that. So that, and all that stuff around, these are the kind of circumstances that mean you've reached your potential, these are the rules, this, that and the other, that fills our head with a lot of noise. And I've noticed, my first big experience of that, I think, was I was leaving secondary education or high school in the late 80s. And at that point, they had really got a big mission on getting girls to study engineering. And I was doing maths, physics, and chemistry at A level. So if you understand the British education system, the subjects you study between 16 and 18 are called A levels, and before that, they were called the tests you did up to 16 are called O levels. But now they're called GCSEs. But anyway, A levels have remained. And I was doing maths, physics and chemistry at A levels. So of course I was a ripe student for engineering. And what happened was a group of girls from my high school and from other high schools around the north of England were wined and dined. Well, we weren't wined because we were underage. We were under 18. So we were taken off to stay at universities. We were, all paid for, all expenses paid, trips. I did general studies as well. We had to do general studies, so I did 4 A levels, but I had to do general studies. We all had to do that. I don't know why. It took a complete choice away from you, but that was how we did it then. We had to do general studies. So I was... And the other thing these people did that were trying to persuade me to study engineering was they sold us the package, and the package was, this is a great career, and the pound signs were flashed in front of us. We were told that we could earn a really good salary, and in addition to that, we were encouraged to apply for sponsorship, which was where a company would pay us to go to university. So I went for that hook, line and sinker. And I know now, because I'm looking back at it, but I know now that one of my main drivers for that was money and accolade, success in the traditional sense of the word. That's why I was driven towards that. There was nothing about my intuition coming into that or following what I really wanted to do. It was just, well, I've got these maths, physics and chemistry qualifications and engineering makes sense and I can earn lots of money doing it. And what happened to me was I was sponsored by a company now known as Nestle, but I was sponsored by Rowntree Mackintosh at the time, which was a company that were bought by Nestle. Rowntree Mackintosh make polos and Kit Kats and Aeros, I believe they made. After 8 mints they made, but they're all owned by Nestle now, not Rowntree Mackintosh. The factory is still in York, though, where I used to work. Spent a year in industry, had a brilliant time, had a great time in the factory. And then I was paid to go to university. And I lasted 2 terms. 2 terms. That means I started in September, and at Easter I came home and I never went back to it. It seems I have a pattern of doing that, because when I burnt out, it was Easter as well. So I don't know what that's about. I don't hold my breath at Easter every year, thankfully. So there was all this drive to be this potential that was it just wasn't to do with me revealing what was in my heart, in my gut, in my soul. There was none of that. It was all outside in. So. And the reason why we buy into that is that we're told that's going to make us happy. That's it, really. We think we're going to feel great when we get there. That when we get to X amount of salary, X amount of employees, X amount of clients, when we get to a certain house, car, blah, 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 we're told that that's going to bring about a particular feeling. That is going to make us happy, bring us peace. And the trouble with that is that it's not true. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed the new car thing? You get super excited about a new car and you get the new car. And then very quickly it's just your car, isn't it? It's not your new car, it's just your car. And all the feelings that you thought you were going to have from driving round in a whatever sort of type of car. I'm not a car person, I'm all about the colour and the cup holders, to be fair. So don't get me on cars, because there'll be no lives on cars. But it's that idea that we're going to feel that. So we're going to feel a better feeling by having a thing. Whether it's a piece of paper, whether it's a relationship, whether it's something in our business, whether it's something in our career, it doesn't matter. Those things do not create our happiness. And that's why we get to them. And then, if it's cars, in 6 months' time, you kind of go, I need another new car because this one's not making me feel right. I don't feel good in this car anymore. Well, that's because the car was never going to make you feel good. So the next point that came in for me was chasing the career. So when I left engineering, I went back and did a different degree. I did philosophy, psychology, sociology and literature. It's just like the opposite end of the spectrum, but felt like much more. I went off and kind of thought, what do I really want to learn about? And that led me. Yeah, definitely, Liz. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it's for women as much as for men, but for some men, it's like, well, that'll make me the right person to find a person to be with me in my flash car that I'm driving. I'm sure that's still a thing. It definitely was a thing in the 80s that we used to say. So I did a social sciences degree basically, and then I did a PGC, which is a teaching qualification, and began teaching. And really, I loved teaching. I loved leading in education even more, but that felt more like a path I chose myself. But then in my career, exactly the same. Every 4 years I moved, apart from my first job. I was in my first job for 5 years, but I did give birth to 2 babies during that time. Also, I didn't just do my job, I gave birth twice and had 2 maternity leaves and still moved after 5 years. In fact, my first promotion I applied for while I was on maternity leave, which is insane. I'd moved house, so I needed to move job really because the travelling was a bit much. But I actually... instead of just making a sideways move, while I had 1 baby under 2 and a second child who was under 1, I decided to take a promotion. So there you go, insanity reign. Because I thought it was going to make me feel better, basically. Especially when the poach is aligned, I agree. When things just seem to happen, like almost by accident, that those are just like, we're not saying, oh, when I get that, I'm going to feel good. We just kind of get something, and I accidentally created a podcast once, because one of my clients was watching some of my videos, so I made them into audios, and I made a podcast. Now, I'd been thinking about podcasts for a while and thinking, podcasts will make me feel great because this will be better in my business, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when I did make the podcast by accident, because I needed to get this client to be listening to my tracks, not watching them while she was driving, because that's what she was doing. She was watching my videos whilst driving, and I went, I don't think the police are going to like that. She said, it's okay, I'm not looking at the screen, but I just said, no, I don't think so. So I made the stuff into a podcast, and I suddenly saw on my phone, I had Spotify, and suddenly my podcast was on Spotify next to other teachers of the 3 Principles podcast. And I just went, oh my God, I've made it. And I was just so thrilled with that moment of like, oh, I've made a podcast. Wow. Like, you're right there. It's when it's in the moment, when it's just something that, then there is that pleasure in the moment, isn't there? But not chasing it, not the chasing. So, well, I don't think they do, Fanaz. You say, surely they know about mindfulness and happiness. No, because that's the illusion. So for me in my career, I was chasing. And every time I got to the next career point, the next promotion, I was like, oh, I'd have the first few months of feeling, whoa, it's so exciting. And then after that, it would just go downhill. And I very quickly thought I needed another promotion. And I kept doing that all through my career. I moved every 4 years. I didn't know. I just thought, I don't think most people do know that. Fanaz, I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. Yes, there are of course rich people who are mindful, and who are creating wealth in a very different way. But I would say the vast majority of the world is chasing a feeling in the outside world, and this is where this misunderstanding about potential is all part of that. For a lot of us, it can feel like we have to be somewhere. And this is where we can bring some awareness and curiosity, really. If in your head you notice, when I have X, I will feel Y. When I have a certain amount of money in the bank, I will feel secure. If I have this partner, if I have a partner, any partner maybe, then I'll feel, happy. If I go on holiday to this place, I'm going to feel better. All of these, watch out for these. When I have X, I will feel Y. Watch out for that. That's really, really powerful to watch out for, because that really isn't true. You don't get feelings from outside things. So what's the alternative? Let's talk about what the alternative is before we completely run out of time. Welcome to, I can see we're now at 80, so thank you so much for being here. Welcome if you just come in. If you'd like to follow me, that would be great. If you want to learn about the 3 principles and learn about this new paradigm, please do go along to my profile and follow me. You'll find a link there. In that Pensite page, in my Pensite page, there is a link to these. You can catch up on these. I just screen record me. I don't screen record any of your comments or anything, but it means that there is a place for people to catch up who've missed it. The other place to catch up on this kind of content is to go across to go onto my profile on Insight Timer and go see the other things that I've been sharing. So I've got a couple of courses, Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease and Revealing Your Potential with the 3 Principles. Both of those are available now. There's going to be a new course each month, so it's great to follow me. You'll find out more about when I'm going live, what I'm sharing, and all the other free tracks. There's loads of free tracks, and I'm starting to put some premium tracks on as well. So there's just absolutely, I'm a bit of a content machine, actually. I love creating content and creating things to share, and I prefer to share it on here on Insight Timer. And if you do find this helpful for today, and you've heard something new and you think actually that's been really helpful, then if you are able to make a donation, I of course will be super grateful, and so will Insight Timer. It does help to support the platform and support me in the work that I'm doing. So if you are able to do that, that would be wonderful. So let's just look at we've looked at the outside in concept of potential. Now let's look at the alternative. What really am I pointing to, and what is the 3 principles pointing to when we think about potential? So for me, our potential is like a diamond inside us that we are born with. We are born with the potential of the universe inside us, and that's still there. It often will not feel that way. It often will not feel like we're a diamond inside. But let me tell you about what is in there. What is your potential? Well, it's infinite intelligence, it's wisdom, it's confidence, it's resilience, it's peace, love and wisdom. There's a beautiful quote by a guy called Jack Pansky, who's one of the original 3 principles teachers, and he says, all we are is peace, love and wisdom, and the capacity to create the illusion that we are not. And the illusion is created by thought. So let's just consider thought and what kind of, because in this talk today we're really talking about the power of presence in helping us to reveal this potential. So Your potential is presence. It is in presence. It is only available in present moment. That's absolutely fundamentally true. Like, people often talk about their gut instinct or intuition, and then they'll tell me that their gut instinct said that, or their wisdom said that something was going to happen 3 weeks on Tuesday. That's probably not your wisdom. Your wisdom is going to guide you in the present moment. Yes, Marianne, they are. There's a track called "What Are the Three Principles and How Are They Helpful?" which I've uploaded it. I'm not 100% sure whether it's been approved or not yet. I will try and have a look at that. So in the next session, I can let you know. If you can't find it, just drop me a message and I'll let you know when it's released. But if you follow me, you'll see when it gets released. But I think it has been released. I did put it on a little while ago, so fingers crossed. But it can take up to sort of 2 weeks for the tracks to be released. So when we consider this concept of, there's a diamond inside, it contains everything. It contains our entire potential. It is our potential. The only thing that ever stops us accessing that is thought. So if we go back and think about that kind of traditional view of potential, about all the outside stuff and the accolades and all that thing, then if we think that we need all those things to be okay, then can you see how occupied our minds will be chasing those things, trying to get them, busying our minds? And for me, that led to burnout. When I was trying to get my feeling of well-being, get to my potential in my relationship, my work, my salsa dancing even, I was doing online dating, doing all sorts of things, and I thought all of my reaching my potential, getting everything I wanted was all wrapped up in that. It gave me a lot to control and a lot to think about. So a lot to do and a lot to think about, which led to extreme stress and burnout in the end. Via not sleeping very much at all for about 3 months. And in the end, I was exhausted physically and emotionally because I was just doing so much to try and make myself feel okay, from a place of misunderstanding that my okayness could ever be in the outside world. I was never in the present moment. So when we fall into the present moment, we have access to the power of the universe. That's the space where our potential can start to shine through. And for me, how that shows up is these moments of intuition, these moments of just knowing what to do. Like last month, I covered problem solving and decision making, and it boiled down a lot to what's just the next step. Like, I think intuition, or wisdom, whatever you want to call it, we often think that's going to be this massive thing, that a beam of light will come down from heaven, touch us on the head, and we'll know the answer to everything and how to solve all our problems for the rest of our life, and then it'll all be wonderful. But for me, that how that potential is revealed in the present moment is just knowing what to do next. Like, how I've developed my strategy on Insight Timer has totally come from what to do next. Yeah, baby steps, Claudia. That's beautiful. Sorry, there's been loads and loads of comments. I've not really been paying attention. I'm sorry to hear about all that, Fanaz. I hope you're okay. And hopefully Marion have answered that. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Pamela. And if you've just come in, then you can catch up on this. If you hop on the link on my bio, you can catch up. After the session, I will upload it. Where was I going then? So this idea. So what's to notice about the present is only when you're not. And I'm telling you now, if you are in the thinking of, when I have X, I will feel Y. When somebody behaves differently, when my life's different, when I've got this, that and the other, when this is in place and that is in place, I'll feel better in some way, that I'll have access to well-being and I'll feel lovely and happy and peaceful and whatever else. Then your head will be so busy with the past, well, mostly with the future, but also probably with the past too. Your head will be so busy with that the present moment won't be there, and your next step, which wants to come from down here, wants to come from your heart, from your gut, from your soul, won't be heard. There'll be too much noise. And that's why often this model that I share, the 3 principles, is known as subtractive psychology. Because underneath our psychology, which is not our potential, which is not who we really are, there is something infinite, something wonderful, something otherworldly. And it can often just feel like the first thought. The first thing that comes to mind when we ask a question, what should I do about so-and-so? Or sometimes even better for me, that I've been thinking very hard about what to do about so-and-so, but I stop thinking about it. And then the answer of what to do about so-and-so comes out when I've gone for a walk or I'm watching some rubbish on the telly. I'm watching Queen Charlotte at the moment, actually, from the Bridgerton people. Very good. Quite addicted to that, actually. Last night stayed up far too late watching it. It's really good. But it's it's in the moment. Tammy, are you watching Queen Charlotte? I don't know what you're me tooing to. But yeah, it's brilliant. Yes, very good. Good show. Very, very riveting. Oh, Claudia, I would love to sit down with you and talk about that. Oh, bless you. Sending you so much love, but that is like, it's the interesting thing there, Claudia, is that you're living from the mind, but it's the mind that's telling you the heart's not good enough. It's very clever, isn't it, that? Like, the psychology wants to be listened to. Not that it's got its own personality or anything, but our psychology wants to be listened to. And the reason is because the way our psychology was learnt, because it's learnt, it's not how you were born, it's not who you are. That was really Yorkshire, who you are. It's not that. But it's the learnt stuff, and all of it was learnt. That it was learnt when we were trying to keep ourselves safe, protect ourselves. Awareness is the only thing, Liz. Like, I wrote something down yesterday because I said it to my fiance and I went, I'm going to have to write this down because I think it's really good. I wrote it down on my list of things to write down. Open. So what did I do? What did I say? I just said, yeah, Liz, if anything looks like it needs more than awareness, then you're on the wrong path. If something in you looks like it needs more than awareness, that it looks like it needs you to fix it or you to do something about it, then I would say in this conversation, it's there's nothing to do. Just awareness. Just noticing. And one of the most powerful things when we're thinking about the power of presence, and it really does like reference The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'm sure many of you have come across. Is Eckhart Tolle a teacher on here? On Insight Timer? I don't know if he is or not, but anyway. But he said, and I'm going to mess up his quote because that's kind of what I do, but he said something like, the moment that you notice that you are not in the present moment, you will naturally fall into the present moment. Like, that presence is always available to us, of course. And all we need to do is notice that we're not there. Oh, I'm so excited because I've just got to 100 people. I just spied it out of the corner of my eye. Yay, 100 people. Welcome all 100 lovely people. How wonderful. I'm definitely going to do regular lunchtime because because you're here, which is marvellous. So that power of presence, and I think that's why Eckhart Tolle called his book this. I've just thought of it actually, that my title is The Power of Presence, Revealing the Potential in the Now. Well, he called his book The Power of Now for a reason, because that's where your power is. That's where it is. Everything. So Louise, wrong side of the pennons, my darling. So Leeds all the way. Born, bred. However, I think I've got a generalised northern accent with a little bit of university, not plumminess, but slightly poshed up. Poshed up sounds really posh, doesn't it? Slightly poshed up by look, it's great, we've got loads of northern. I feel like we should have like a cuppa and a get together with all these people. I mean, meet in the middle somewhere. I was going to say Oldham, and then I kind of thought maybe not Oldham. Somewhere in the middle of Leeds and Manchester, have a little get together. With Eckhart Tolle, some of his teachings. Yeah, I've got a friend who's actually my first 3 principles coach is actually, I don't know if he's still there, but he's been to work with Eckhart Tolle in person. So he's trying to get the 3 principles and Eckhart's teachings together. It's really cool. So Louise, you're in New York City now, but you're a northern lass ordinarily before. So wonderful. Oh my goodness, it's like just after at the hour. And I'm going to have to go soon because I have got a client coming here to the house in 10 minutes. They don't often come here. Most of my clients I see on Zoom. So hopefully we've explored this a little bit. I feel like there's a part 2 to this. But I have got some sessions already booked in for next week. So let's have a look at those. Let me get my my profile up on Insight Timer. And I'll tell you all about those. I love that we're having a nice connection with each other. So I've already scheduled my lives for next week. Where are they? Right, events. So Tuesday the 13th. I'm not here on Monday because I'm part of the 3 Principles UK conference, which is on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday next week. And I'm helping out with that. So I'm not available on Monday, but I am available at 8:15 on Tuesday. So 8:15 on Tuesday, Unlocking Confidence, Embracing Self-Belief and Empowerment. So you can see how these sessions all connect together. 3:50 on Wednesday. These are all BST times, by the way, in case you're not in a BST time zone. Comparison to celebration, embracing your unique potential. So if you get stuck in a bit of comparisonitis, it's so hard to avoid these days, isn't it, with all the social media noise. And then the 15th of June, Inner Wisdom, Harnessing Your Intuition for Guided Potential. Oh, thank you, Louise. That's lovely. And then 16th of June, which is next Friday, Cultivate Compassion, Potential from Kindness and Connection. So those are all the events. As I've already said, let me just finish by recapping that I am here 5 times next week. So please do come and 4 times next week, not Monday, because there's just too much happening on Monday. So please do follow me and connect with me, and go over to the link on my bio and find out a little bit more about me. Come to those live sessions. Really, really looking forward to seeing you. The courses are there too. Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease, and Revealing Your True Potential with the 3 Principles. I am, as I say, passionate beyond belief about this community on Insight Timer and about helping you to understand the 3 Principles and the transformation that's available from that. I obviously work one-to-one with people too. Please do reach out with me and message me. If there's anything today that you're a bit stuck on or you're not feeling okay, then please do. Don't sit and worry about things. That's the last thing I want. So you can always message me on here and arrange to and just chat. If you found this helpful at all and you would like to support me on Insight Timer, I'm always obviously really grateful for donations. But I mean, to be fair, the hearts have been so lovely today. There have been just so many hearts going up. I've really loved seeing all the hearts go up. So thank you so much for all the love. this space is an absolutely wonderful space. We just heard my alarm going off now for my next session at 2:00. But look at the room's all tidy, so we're all ready for him. Take care. Have an absolutely beautiful weekend. As I told people yesterday, I'm going to the Knaresborough bed race tomorrow, which is a race where people decorate a bed like an old hospital bed, and they 4 people push it, 1 person rides on it, and they push it round the town. Liz, thought, mind and consciousness, where thought is thought, mind is awareness, consciousness, and mind is universal mind or intelligence or everything to do with that kind of energy of life that we think, the aliveness. So Liz, if you want to find out more, definitely go over to my profile. I think I've put a video on my Pensite link that does just encapsulate it as well a little bit and tells a bit more of my story. So yeah, I'll be enjoying the bed race this weekend and the 3 Principles conference. I hope you've got a lovely weekend planned, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a good one. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you for all the lovely hearts going up the side of the screen. They're absolutely beautiful. Take care, lots of love, and I will hopefully see some of you again soon. Thank you so much.